Welcome back to PlayStation Corner. My name is Alex and today we're going to be taking a look at my favourite 15 PS5 releases in 2021. It's been a great year for PS5 owners out there for sure, but I do want to point this out. The majority of these, they will work on PS4 thanks to backwards compatibility as well. So with that luck, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family, and let's get started. First up then, Fist Forged in Shadow Torch. I wasn't entirely sold on this one going in, but I knew I loved the visual style, and I'm a sucker for a 2D action platformer, especially one that packs elements of Metroidvania. This one though, it throws you into the world of Torch City. The animal inhabitants, they were defeated by a robotic enemy, and now you make up part of the resistance 6 years later. It's a combination of platforming, combat and puzzles, but with the constantly shifting tone of the world and a combat system that throws you between different styles. I really enjoyed it. Enemies, they come at you fast as well, so it's packing some decent challenge. Kena Bridge of Spirits, and I reviewed on the channel, find that linked below in the pinned comment, but it's a third-person action-adventure title made by a small team. It actually went on to win the Best Indie of 2021. You play here though a spirit guide searching for a shrine in what is an abandoned village, but quickly enemies they do appear. The exploration is great fun, it's visually impressive for again an indie, and it packs a surprising amount of challenge. That's the one issue I would say with this one. The boss encounters, they can kind of spike in difficulty, just maybe a little bit too randomly when it comes to that challenge, but their creativity, it more than makes up for it. I'm hoping we see more of this world in the future though. It's got a ton of potential to go deeper. The rot then are awesome too, these little creatures that you collect and weirdly can even dress up. Guardians of the Galaxy then was a surprise hit for me. I was quietly hopeful, but no doubt many out there, like me, didn't, expect a lot given the fact it's a licensed IP, and I'm happy to say I was really impressed. A third-person action-adventure, you'll take on the role of Star-Lord with the chance then to freely command the squad, the Guardians around you, and they got that balance just right where you would use them in ways that absolutely made sense. Visually then, it was stunning even without the likenesses of the MCU crew. They got them to a point which was, strong. Even the voice acting, it delivered each character as I expected. Throw in then a constantly evolving story, some great jokes and unique set pieces, and yeah, this is good work and well worth your time. Chorus then was a recent release. I reviewed it here on the channel, that is linked in the pinned comment below, and any sci-fi fans out there, you should be taking a look. It's a flight sim adventure all about exploration and combat. It's very much an arcade game, this one. You will never leave your ship, which I had a fear would render things just a little sterile, but it worked thanks to constant dialogue and interactions. The ship movement is strong though, dogfights, they are a blast. It's another one with stunning visuals today, but honestly you could say that for near every game on today's list, and it's backed up then with what is an epic soundtrack. The world and the story though, defending yourself against an enemy that's taking out the galaxy, it's very easy to invest in this crew. The only weakness, there's a drift mechanic which is more than a little awkward. Hitman 3 then, and if you've not jumped into this world, I'm not sure I can really add anything to change your mind honestly as well. The game's not trying to convert anyone, it's more of the same, and it's as entertaining as ever. It's the idea of small sandbox locations, a target or even multiple targets, and you need to take them out however you please. That's where the joy of Hitman lies though, that freedom, guns blazing, poison, explosions, creative. It's not a long game, maybe 8 or so hours, but a ton of replayability here, and the story was surprisingly good as we once again accompany Agent 47 on what is a globe-trotting tour. I'd call it a tale of revenge. The opening Dubai level as well, scaling the building to get in, that is one of my favourite set pieces in a game in 2021. F1 2021 was another great early entry. While it's not making huge strides forward as is, traditional with games that release yearly, this still did enough to impress. The visuals feel like they maximise the power advantage the PS5 provides, and even though EA took over from Codemasters pre-release, it seems they didn't have too much of an influence over the content. I kind of had this fear going in of non-stop microtransactions. Between quick races though, career and online, then we even saw a series first in story mode, and I'm surprised to say I enjoyed it. It was cheesy and dumb and in no way a true reflection of the world of F1, but it was entertaining following this up and coming racer. It also acts as a tutorial for F1, which made this one of the most accessible entries we have seen in years. At least that's the case if you dial up the assists. Watch my full review though, linked in the pinned comment down below. Guilty Gear Strive then is for me the best fighter on the PlayStation 5. It packs this incredible cel-shaded like 2.5D style that at this point Arc Systems works. They've just absolutely nailed it. The core mechanics as well, incredibly deep, but it's the usual setup, meaning you could happily jump in and button mash away. But the true enjoyment here lies in sitting down and mastering that moveset. I have very few complaints though. The roster was strong at launch. They continue to build upon it with paid DLC or a season pass option, and maybe the only element that did eventually annoy me, a repetitive intro that they really could have added some variety to. It makes no impact on the game though, and you can see how impressed I am in my review in the pinned comment down below. Deathloop then was a surprise hit for me this year. I was away when it released, so I kind of jumped in maybe a couple of weeks after launch, and even then I wasn't particularly excited thanks to their overkill with non-stop marketing. I was watching all of these events, State of Play, E3, just hoping I wouldn't need to sit through another trailer. Well, thankfully, once I did invest the time, I was glad I did. With all that marketing as well, I don't think they did a particularly good job of conveying what you would be doing in this game. It's a first-person shooter, and it can be absolute non-stop action, but at the same time, there's also this level of brain power and strategy to it all. The concept you are caught, you're searching for a way to escape a time loop by killing a number of targets. Die, fail, it's time to try again. What makes it extra unique though, a rival assassin, Juliana, who is after you, and she can even be player controlled as well. The weapon selection finally, solid as always, it's the usual arcane creativity. Returnal will no doubt be number one on many lists this year, and I absolutely get it, but I was day one and I faced countless issues with this one, unfortunately, that just, soured the experience for me slightly. I did end up going back to it, but it kind of lost that excitement for me that I had the first time going in. I can see for sure though why it's held in such high regards. Easily the most difficult game on today's list in my eyes. It's a roguelike, meaning die, it's back to the beginning and try again. But this planet changes dramatically with each run, and at points it gets even borderline bullet hell with your enemies. Third person run and gun fans though should be coming here, and this is one of the few games on today's list that is currently exclusive to the PS5 with no backwards compatibility. Lost Judgment then was a release I was psyched for. I'm a massive fan of Yakuza. I loved this spin-off, but I was not sure we would ever really see a sequel. Always happy to be wrong though in scenarios like this, and we return here to the role of Yagami. It's the usual Yakuza experience, meaning a small but packed open world, a main questline, side quests, and then a ton of activities that can get truly bizarre. It's the investigation moments though that are the highlight. We're getting to the bottom of a murder, but quickly that evolves into corruption and all sorts of subplots. It looks fantastic as well, this one, and I hope it's going to lead now to a third entry. It is more than deserved. Finally then, if you want a heavy dose of story with your broader action, this is the place to come. Resident Evil Village then is perhaps one of the best looking PS5 games on the market today. While many out there, they weren't completely sold on its new enemy cast, I mostly enjoyed it personally. I enjoyed that kind of slight shift in tone. The diversion, the fact it then picked up as well relatively soon after the events of Resident Evil 7, I already had an investment in all of these characters. It wastes no time either. In the opening moments, your child is taken, now you need to get them back. Ethan Winters is our poor lead who basically faces absolute torture near 90% of the time, and I still love the first person move for the series. It's a real shift in tone, making you feel more in the action, but also like 7, it's actually creepy and often scary. And yeah, with most of these entries, they become all out action, so it's so nice to see. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart then is another PS5 exclusive release, no backwards compatibility, and it set out to maximise the capabilities of the system, and it did not disappoint. Transitions between cutscenes and gameplay often caught me off guard entirely, and when you transition between worlds, some of the visual effects, they're just another level. The gameplay then is solid as well, third-person action platforming that's been designed as one epic set piece after another. The opening of this game, a parade sequence that is another personal favourite of 2021 alongside Hitman. Just immediately you want to jump into this world. The guns then are my favourite part of the game, especially a pixel gun, and then the enemies and the action contained. Yeah, this is just a great option for all ages. Rivet as well, fantastic character to play as. Disco Elysium then to kick off our final 3 games, and I adore this one. I've played it on Steam, PS5, Xbox and Switch. Part to kind of compare, mostly because I just love the game, its world, and it's an adventure-like experience, almost point and click, with a whole lot of RPG elements, including a dice roll system set around character stats. I thought the visuals looked great on PlayStation as well, that watercolour effect, but the winner here, it is easily the story. You are a questionable detective though, sent to this location to investigate a murder, a hanging, and few games can match the cast on offer here. There's a lot of text in this one, just as a warning, some small, especially when I played on monitor, so just know that going in, and it still contains a few minor bugs that have always been present, but still, they can't harm this game enough. In my opinion, it is just something special. Tales of Arise is a masterpiece in the world of JRPGs, just incredibly well crafted, beautiful to look at, and a fantastic entry point for anyone looking to jump in. Now, like Final Fantasy Tales, they are standalone games, so it allows that level of quick access without too much back knowledge. Honestly as well, it is absolutely stunning, I cannot suggest it more. So story-wise, this one, it's nothing you haven't seen before honestly, but it's got this epic nature going for it as you set out to save this world, and what a large world it is. Combat here though, it is action based, no turn based here, and it's packed full of moves and visual effects that will knock you back. It's all then built around a new system that throws in combos with other party members. I would say watch a full review on this one, a huge amount happening, but this was my go-to experience over the winter period. Chivalry 2 then is my number 1 game of 2021, and I know for many that would not be the case, but this one it had me addicted all year, beginning to end, from that beta to the full launch, and now they continue to support it with consistent updates. The gameplay concept is simple enough though, medieval multiplayer, but it's everything from small scale deathmatch to large team objective based kind of takeovers, and the latter is what I love, taking over maps, pushing an opposing force back. The combat system though, that is deep. It's asking you to manage your swing style. We get different classes, including arrows for those that want ranged, and I thought it looked stunning as well. What surprised me the most though, surprisingly good sense of humour from what our characters say to weapons around the battlefield. I cannot wait to see where this goes next, but I have absolutely every intention of sticking with it throughout. And that's my top 15 of 2021. Let me know what would be in yours and what I am missing. With that then, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.